You know, for thousands of years, there's been this one question that's just captivated everyone. How in the world did the ancient Egyptians, with no modern technology, build the Great Pyramids? I mean, these aren't just piles of rocks, they're literally mountains of human achievement. Okay, let's dive into this absolutely epic construction project.
To really wrap your head around the scale here, let's just start with the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's built from about 2.5 million individual stone blocks. Every single one of them had to be quarried, moved, and then lifted into place. It's just staggering.
And listen, these aren't pebbles. The average block weighs a few tons, sure, but some of the massive granite beams deep inside, they can weigh up to 15 tons. To give you an idea of what that means, that's like trying to lift 7 cars, all stacked on top of each other. And they did this millions of times. It's just wild.
So yeah, this is the puzzle, right? How did they possibly do it? When you look at the sheer size, the weight, the mind-boggling precision, it just feels impossible. And that feeling is exactly what has sparked some pretty out-there ideas over the years. Because the whole thing feels so completely superhuman, a lot of people have wondered if maybe the answer isn't human at all. Maybe the answer lies somewhere else. So let's take a look at some of those theories that you definitely won't find in a standard history book.
I mean, the most popular ones sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. You've got your ancient astronauts, right, with laser beams and tractor beams helping out. Then there's the whole idea of a lost, super advanced human civilization, think Atlantis, that had access to forgotten secrets like anti-gravity or sonic levitation. The ideas get even crazier, with some people suggesting they move the blocks with pure psychic power.
And this quote right here, it gets to the very heart of why people believe these things. The precision is just unreal. We're talking about stones cut so perfectly that you can't even slide a knife blade between them. On top of that, the entire structure is aligned almost perfectly with true north. That kind of perfection is what makes people start searching for a truly extraordinary explanation. So you end up with this epic showdown. On one side, you have these fantastical myths of alien tech and lost magic. And on the other, you have the story that archaeologists have been piecing together for decades. A story of clever human tools, a mastery of simple physics, and the incredible power of mass collaboration. All right, so let's switch gears and explore that official story. This isn't just a guess. It's the explanation built on decades of actual archaeological evidence. And frankly, it's a testament to something that I think is just as incredible as aliens: pure human ingenuity. Instead of looking at it as one giant, impossible task, archaeologists break the project down into 3 core challenges that the Egyptians absolutely mastered: getting the stone, moving the stone, and finally, lifting and stacking the stone. So first up, how did they cut the blocks? Not with lasers, but with bronze and copper tools and a really brilliant trick. Workers would find cracks in the limestone, hammer wooden wedges into them, and then soak the wedges with water. As the wood swelled up, that slow, immense pressure would just split the stone right off the rock face. So simple, but so incredibly effective.
And what about getting these massive blocks to the construction site? Well, they used the most powerful engine they had, the Nile River. During the annual flood season, the river would rise high enough to allow them to float the blocks on barges almost directly to the base of the Giza Plateau. They literally turned their environment into a superhighway.
Now, this is a crucial point. Who did all this work? You can forget the old Hollywood movies. All the evidence from the workers' villages found near the pyramids shows this was not slave labor. These were skilled, paid workers. They lived in organized towns that had bakeries and even hospitals. They ate well, meat, bread, beer. They were even organized into competitive teams with cool names. This was a national project, built by a proud and dedicated workforce.
And look, this isn't just old guesswork. Modern science and new discoveries are constantly adding more detail and confirming this incredible story of human achievement. But this is the big one, right? The question that always stumps everyone. Okay, fine, they could cut them and float them over, but how did they lift 15-ton blocks hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air?
And this is where modern tech helps solve an ancient mystery. For years, everybody assumed they used a massive ramp on the outside of the pyramid. But recent scans using cosmic ray imaging, which is kind of like a giant X-ray for buildings, have revealed these voids, these empty spaces deep inside the pyramid. These gaps strongly suggest they built a massive internal ramp that spiraled up as the pyramid got taller. It's a total game changer for understanding how they did it.
And the evidence just keeps piling up. Archaeologists have actually found the remains of the ancient harbors and canals they used for transport.
They've discovered papyrus logs, like the famous Diary of Mir, which are basically ancient work logs detailing supply deliveries and team movements. On top of all that, modern computer simulations and real-life experiments have shown that their methods, using levers and ramps, absolutely work.
So what about that superhuman precision we talked about earlier? Well, it wasn't magic. It was just a mastery of the basics. They used simple but brilliant tools, like plumb bobs to get perfect vertical lines and A-frame levels to ensure the foundations were perfectly flat. And to align the entire structure to true north, they just meticulously observed the stars.
So when you strip away all the aliens and the magic, what are you left with? I'd argue it's something far more impressive. A monument not to some lost civilization, but to our own.
And it's really important to remember they didn't just get this right on the first try. This wasn't a one-off miracle. The earlier pyramids show tons of trial and error. You can literally see their learning process carved in stone, like with the famous bent pyramid. They actually changed the angle halfway up because they likely realized it was too steep and was going to collapse. The Great Pyramids, well, they're the final product of generations of practice and refinement.
Ultimately, the construction of the pyramids was maybe less of an engineering mystery and more of an organizational masterpiece. It required a stable, wealthy civilization that could coordinate and take care of thousands of workers for decades. It was a demonstration of the sheer power of a unified people, all focused on a single monumental goal.
So the next time you see the Great Pyramids, don't just see a mystery, see a benchmark. It's a stunning example of what humans could achieve with simple tools, clever physics, and incredible teamwork 4,500 years ago, which really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? If that's what we could do then, what are we truly capable of now?